What's good, YouTube? YouTube fam. Bumba Clot. What it do, y'all? Here's your boy, Damien, aka Ross Mindset, back at it. It's been a little minute, and I'm not looking too hot, man. My face, man, is just breaking out. But, you gotta do it anyway, man. You can't really trip over the little small things, There's always some room for improvement on that type of thing. Just a little brief recap. I was on a vacation from my job. I took a week off, man. I was just burnt out. It was nothing against the job or nothing, man. It's just, I'm only human, man, and everybody deserves a little break every now and then. You can't just overwork yourself to death. So yeah, I took a break. I was gonna originally make some videos during the break, but I decided to just relax inside. I was just smoking, man. I was just doing a whole bunch of nothing, man. But I feel like I deserved it. I had the time. I still have time too, so it's not like I just blew all my vacation for nothing, man. I still got to relax and enjoy myself. So, but yeah, your boy's back at it. Just got off work, kinda well, I don't really need to disclose nothing like that, but yeah, just got off work, just chilling at my usual little spot at the kind of at the rec is what they call it, recreational center. Wanted to talk about, well, first off, I wanted to touch up on why I made this channel in the first place. I kind of had to remind myself, because my first videos were about being black and alternative. It was really back when I was like bald and I was about to start relaxing my hair, but I never really got around to recording videos about relaxing my hair. I mean, I was planning on doing it, and around this time, it was like 10 years ago, like in 2010 or something like that. I guess it was like a kind of an Afro-punk movement that was going around. It wasn't really prominent in like the Pacific Northwest, but it all these dudes were perming their hair to look like the scene kids or the anime kids. It was a movement, man. It was popping, man. But it was mostly on the East Coast, like in St. Louis, New York, and over there. I saw a lot of cats over there doing that. So I hopped on YouTube and I decided, man, you know what? I'm gonna do something like that, man. Because I never really gave a fuck about what people thought. And I feel like this is somewhat attributed to growing up under a single father, just not really having that masculine kind of not give a fuck kind of virtue that was instilled in me from my dad being in the military. And he didn't give a fuck about a lot of things, and that kind of instilled upon me to not really care about what people think, venture off into the road less traveled. So that's why I decided to perm my hair for a while, at least like 4 years. I mean, honestly, if I had to go back in time, man, I would have done this instead to start this shit, man. Because imagine if I started this 10 years ago and still had this now. That would have been cold, especially if it was freeform. But anyway, that's beside the point, man. I'm getting way off topic. Yeah, I did the perm 10 years ago, and yeah, that just reminded me. Yesterday I was looking up some videos about some black alternatives, and that just reminded me, man, I'm still alternative, dude. There's nothing like, I'm not saying there's something wrong with like being like everybody else, but I'm still on my rock shit, man. I'm still about that alternative lifestyle. I still fuck with anime, but I'm more about like Rastafarianism and hardcore and trying to be an example to others and try to live a good life is what I be about nowadays. Like, my alternative isn't like piercings. It can be, but mine's is just like Rasta metal hood dude kind of thing, like kind of on that vibe. So it's more of a more mature alternative, but it's still alternative. Like Rastafarianism, you don't really see much Rastas nowadays. Like, you see like Snoop Lion and rappers trying to appropriate it and stuff like that, but you don't see Rastafarianism just like when you go out. Like, it's a rarity. So I'm still alternative. It's not like anything to brag about. It's just a lifestyle, man. And that's why I wanted to make this videos, because I wanted to really shed light on the pioneers of this stuff, man. I mean, there's probably well, before the ones I mentioned, there's probably like I think like a few queers who were doing stuff like this, and then feel free to comment if you know of those. I haven't really looked too deep into those, but I just know like of these 3 or 4 bands that really pioneered this whole thing, this whole Afro punk, Afro alternative thing. That's Living Colour, Fishbone, and Bad Brains. It was those 3 bands that really paved the way for us to be able to get into rock music, to be able to play rock music, and they were like doing the whole dreadlocks thing before like all the rappers, you know, like Lil Wayne, and they were doing skinny jeans and stuff like that in the 80s, way before the rappers made it cool. Because here's the thing, here's a little history lesson, man. Back in the 80s, man, in the 70s, keep in mind, man, this is post segregation. So the segregation just ended in like what, the 60s, and there was the Vietnam War and the hippie movement and all that. But there was still this expectation that blacks are supposed to be confined in a box, or blacks are supposed to play this kind of music, and whites are supposed to play this kind of music, which is rock and roll and, you know, punk. And blacks were supposed to play like funk, Motown, R&B, jazz, reggae. And the music was still very segregated. And these 3 bands in particular kind of just pushed those boundaries as far as they could, and just shattered any notion and any narratives that blacks can only play certain styles of music, or blacks can't do this or anything like that. And it's really important, man. It's really important, especially considering the fact that blacks, especially nowadays, we're kind of seen as just this monolith, to where it's like, man, oh, you must be all just like about rap music and stuff like that. And there ain't nothing wrong with rap music, man, but it's important that we're not seen as some monolith, and it's important that we get to be able to freely express ourselves, especially considering this wide known fact that we like pioneered and helped create this style of music, and it was just kind of just appropriated and twisted. And that version is still cool, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's become so twisted to the point to where if we embrace that lifestyle or that kind of music, it's seen as you being weird or you trying to imitate something, when in reality, man, it's kind of your birthright. And that's kind of like the main point of what these bands were trying to do, and why I'm making this video. Is just, it really needs to be really driven into society's heads that we can really be anything, especially in this country, especially in America, man. Don't feel like you have to be pressured to be like everybody else, or to be one of them, especially if you know the truth, man. Because, I mean, not gonna lie, man, rap music, as dope as it is, rap culture, hip-hop culture, urban culture, man, yeah, that shit's cool. It represents the struggle. It represents what people go through in the inner city. But there needs to be a way out. There needs to be solutions, man. Not everybody wants to be about that life, or should be about that life, dude. And I know I'm getting real deep into it, but it's just real talk, man. Because this impacted me growing up, dude. This is why I got into what I got into, man. This is why I became a rocker, is because I wanted to escape my surroundings, what was going on. I didn't want to end up, another statistic in the street. I didn't want to end up, in a penitentiary, in a jail cell, in a juvenile hall. I didn't want to end up selling drugs. I didn't want to end up with 3 baby mamas. I didn't want to end up like everybody else in a gang or something like that, man. And that's why it is so important to me that these bands get the recognition they deserve. And not only that, it is important that us, especially these melanated peoples. And some people are gonna be like, dude, man, it ain't all about skin color. Yeah, you're right. It's not all about skin color, but representation really does matter, especially in a country where the majority doesn't look like us, especially in a country where the ones that are mostly in power don't look like us. It is important that we're able to branch out and not feel ostracized for it, because from my experience, it may not be from other people's experience, but from my personal experience, like, I was looked at funny by everybody, man. Even like the white alternative kids or the non-black alternative kids. Like, for some reason, the cool part about it was cool for like everybody else to be alternative, but for some reason blacks are like pigeonholed into this one thing, while everybody else can have their culture, everybody else can embrace. And I can't really speak for everybody else. Well, that's just what I saw, but everybody else could like be into it and be cool with it and be able to blend into it. But for us, it was like seen as weird because the media narratives, the media propaganda, for some reason, has such a strong narrative, such a strong agenda, to the point to where we're... Oh, what's up? Cigarette? Nah, I don't. Sorry. It was seen to the point to where... Sorry, somebody asked me a question, so I got way off track. I was on to something, but it's the media, man. The media, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's the media, bro. The media really paints certain narratives to make people think a certain way, and not to mention like the school system, how it makes certain people look like they've been victims throughout history, when in reality people have achieved more, and it paints it to a point to make one particular group of people look stronger. And you know, you gotta wake up to everything, man. You gotta really, it's not about being woke, man. It's really about knowing the truth and knowing why certain things are the way they are, because it affects how people think. When you watch and look at certain things, and then you look outside and see why people think this way, or why people would live this certain lifestyle, and you gotta really take a step back and look and see, maybe I could be like an example to the future generations, or maybe, you know, I could spread the word, or I could be a poster child for change, you know? Because you as an individual, you have a choice, man. You have a choice to live how you want, man, and that affects others, man. If others see you that way, man, it's a good thing, like the youth. But here's the thing, man, y'all are too caught up in what the world thinks, man, and when in reality, man, who cares about what the world thinks? Like, you're not supposed to do or listen to anything for validation from others, dude. I mean, it's cool to know that you're on the right path, but some people are gonna like not like you because they know what potential you have. I'm getting way too deep into this video, man. But to really sum up this video, man, I just wanted to say, just give a shout out to those 3 bands. I mean, there's been other bands since then have done it, but we still have a ways to go, man. We still have a ways to go to be able to be openly embraced, so we're not seen as weird, we're not seen as a freak, an outcast. I mean, to me, it's kind of a blessing, because, you know, I don't really seek the approval of society, and I can be like y'all, man. I can be like the mass majority, because I grew up kind of that way. But, you know, I just choose to go my own path, and I feel like this, you know, may be some kind of higher calling or higher blessing that is just allowing me to venture off to avoid, you know, like I just mentioned, like things that I've tried my best not to be throughout my life, detrimental things. So, you know, sometimes being an outcast or being shunned away or being pushed away is kind of a blessing, you know. So, I mean, shit. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to say, man. I mean, I was gonna go in depth about those bands that I mentioned, but I can always save that topic for a different day. I just really wanted to talk about how important representation is, and how it warms my heart to see black artists, or black alternative people, or black kids with piercings and skinny jeans, just doing their own thing and being happy for it, man. For all the reasons that I just mentioned, with a culture that's long lost, and feeling as if you only have really one way to really be about anything, it's really important that there's alternatives out there, especially for us. I mean, probably it's also important for other people too, but I'm just saying, I mean, most other people know where they're from. Most other people know their traditions, their values, and usually they have tight-knit communities. But it's just especially important for us to be able to have some other way out. But I'm just ranting on, going on a tangent now, so I'm gonna wrap up this video, man. Appreciate y'all for checking in, man. I'm gonna definitely try to talk about more music and stuff like that in my future videos, especially when I look a bit nicer and actually deeply wash my face and stuff like that. I'm proud to admit it or whatever. It just is what it is. But yeah, man, that's all I really got, y'all, man. Appreciate for watching, man. Follow your boy on Instagram, Ross_mindset. I'll probably link it in the description, and like, comment, subscribe, share the video around, and appreciate y'all. Until next time, man. Peace.